captain by a hook with a red beard. Captain by a hook with a red beard.
Yiggity, yiggity, yes, sir. January 27th, Friday. Some say the best day of the week. I say Saturday. However, great show for you guys today. I have Saturday slate of college hoops coming later. I have my man JCP from the JC Pod on standby. He'll be here momentarily to talk championship weekend in the NFL. Real quick, last night in college hoops, shaking my head. Arizona, Washington, I should say, Washington State, the true definition of creeping in the back door, hitting a buzzer beater 3 to cover. So Arizona didn't cover. ASU, UCLA, a disgraceful performance. Michigan State and Iowa, however, under was easy as Sunday morning. However, with no more further delay, let's dive into this championship weekend with Jaden Chandler Parnell from the JC Pod. My man, how you doing today?
Ooh, we doing good. But yeah, I won't lie to you. Those back doors were creeping yesterday in that college ball.
Man, I looked up.
I don't know. Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if you saw that UCLA game, but before we get in the NFL, boy, those boys got worked in the second half.
It's crazy. I finished up another podcast for Burn City Sports, and I look at the score, and it's like, let me see what game I want to watch, Michigan or UCLA. And it's like 47-20, 43-27 or something like that. So I was like, oh, UCLA.
Like 47-23, I think.
Yeah.
By half.
UCLA got it in the bag. So I put the Michigan game on, and then at the bottom of the screen, like 10 minutes later, it's like UCLA is down 3. What? What the hell?
Yeah.
What in the world?
I mean, I literally, just to touch on that game a little bit since I was watching it, that might be some of the worst, like, second half basketball play I think I've ever. Like, it was 47-23. I go to shave the playoff mustache, get it looking clean, come back. Like, oh, they're down 5. Let me sprinkle a little bit. And then I watch, and all that game taught me is I think I kind of like USC now. Because that boy Boogie Ellis was balling.
Boogie Ellis, baby. The Boogie Monster. One of my dad's favorite players. Back when he was at Memphis, we watched him play a couple times, and my dad could not get over the name Boogie Ellis. He said, now that kid's got a name. But, yeah, man.
Name.
USC is, as of right now, they're nowhere near the tournament.
But I think with that win, I think they said with an out, they're the last one in, I think, right now. But that loss would have taken them out. So I think they basically just like saved their tournament hopes a little bit. If I read that graphic right.
Yeah, I can't wait for this bracketology to be updated. Honestly, since we're talking about college hoops real quick, I did the bracket last night, like as it was on ESPN's bracketology, like right now, and I ended up with Michigan State, Virginia, UCLA, and Alabama. That's my Final Four.
I feel like there's a little bit of homer right there.
Yeah. Michigan State.
That's pretty cool.
Nah, I laughed and I was like, let me go back and see what teams like Michigan State could lose to. And it's like they had the hardest, like it was like they had to beat I got it over right now actually. They had to beat Pittsburgh, who's tough out the ACC. Then they had to beat Gonzaga supposedly. Then they'd have to beat Kansas State, supposedly. Then they'd have to beat either Purdue or I had Xavier beating Purdue before them. But
that's kind of doable, though.
Oh, yeah. Michigan State is me, in my head. I mean, this is from watching straight up one of the best defenses in the league. I mean, they just held a team that averages 80 points a game to 61.
Yeah, that was really impressive.
Yeah. Not to say I called it, but that's the only bet I did win, so I called it. No, I'm playing. But yeah, it is crazy. I don't know. I don't really mess with these early brackets, but I do like to look at it. I write this stuff down just to come back to it when the tournament comes, my Elite Eight and Final Four.
Have a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of helps me like what teams was I liking on January 26th.
I feel you. I feel you.
But yeah, man, let's dive into some football talk. We have the 49ers of San Francisco going on the road to take on the Eagles of Philadelphia. The over under is 46 and a half. I forgot the spread. I think it was 2.5 last I
Yep.
looked.
Yep. 2.5.
Uh,
Still waiting for it to get to 3.
Eagles favored. Yeah,
Wait.
no, I heard some people talking. Actually, I've heard a couple people talking reckless, talking about taking the Eagles like outline -9.5, and then I heard it's 3 right now on the book I use,
Ooh, I'm about to look at my other books then, because yeah, for the good old mine's at that 2 still.
2.5. Yeah, nah, it's a little juice for the Niners, -117 on the +3, but you can get Philly -3, -105. I don't know, man. I got some crazy bets. There's 3 football games left. I watched your power last night. The season flew by, as you said. I agreed
Yeah,
100%.
for real.
I also agreed that this is the hardest weekend to call, and so I could just throw a few of my bets out there. And
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna do this 3 little thing, and then I can come back to some other bets. I think it's gonna go under 46.5, even though I think it's gonna go over 46.5. But I think I'm gonna bet the under because I think it's gonna be a turnover game. I don't know why. I think Brock Purdy's gonna throw a few picks. I got his prop over 1.5 interceptions at +335. I think he's gonna throw 2 or 3 interceptions, but I don't think they're gonna be like. I think they're gonna be in the end zone. I don't think they're gonna be on his side of the field. I don't think they're really gonna hurt him. I mean, they're gonna take points off the board from him, but I don't think it's gonna give Eagles 30 yards to score a touchdown. I think he's gonna try and force some tight windows and get some points early. Um, so I got this game ended up being 19-17 49ers winning. And when I did that, of course, I got a little crazy on the sports book last night. And I took 49ers to win by 1-6 plus 400.
Ooh.
I figured if they do win, it's going to be a tight game. I don't see the 49ers blowing them out. I can see the Eagles blowing the 49ers out. So I'm not saying like I believe in this 100%. But I think if the 49ers win, it'll be under a touchdown. So I took the Niners to win by 1-6 plus 400. I have 4 more bets on this game. I don't know if you want me to just throw them all out there and then you take off.
Yeah, go for it.
Um, so I'm gonna say the crazy ones first, and then I'll come back to reality. Um, I gave out the Purdy over interceptions, 335. Total successful field goals over 3.5 is +123. I think this is a game where drives stall in the under the 30-yard line, and it's gonna be a bunch of field goals going on. It's a 49ers game. It's hard to compare the Packers of last year to the Eagles of this year, but I can see that kind of game happening, 10-9, something like that. Hopefully they get a few more points, a few more field goals. I took the over 3.5 field goals at +123. And then here's the real kicker, the real crazy one, the one bet that contradicts everything I just said. George Kittle 3+ touchdowns at +8,000 is something that I don't know. Let's have some fun. I think those guys are in the zone of Purdy and Kittle. If everything I just said before this is wrong, I look for Kittle to be the guy to have a huge game. I was looking at Christian Mack stuff. However, he made me nervous last week. He's an injury-prone guy, and he was on the sideline dealing with something towards the end of the game, and only coming in on third downs. Um,
Yep, I felt the same way.
it's gonna be a tough fought game, man. I think the Eagles gonna hit him a couple times, pretty hard, and honestly, I don't know if he's built for the playoffs. But that's a whole different conversation. He's a great talent, superstar talent, face of the league almost. But the 2 props that I did go with that are just regular props is George Kittle's over 45.5 receiving yards and Jalen Hurts over 47.5 rushing yards. The 49ers struggle against the run a little bit. I look for the Eagles to take advantage of the run game. And I look for Jalen Hurts to be the main guy running it, even though they have Miles Sanders. Also, for some reason, man, I feel like the Niners are gonna throw picks and the Eagles are gonna fumble the ball. I don't know why. I think it's gonna be 5 or 6
I could.
turnovers in this game.
Ooh,
Two defensive
there a prop for
juggernauts.
that?
I didn't. I'm on it right now, but I didn't see one.
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think they give you props for like over under turnovers in a game.
Yeah, you can get like I said the interception one, but yeah, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. This sports book I used, I guess because it's the last 3 games, they going crazy with everything. They
It
trying
should.
to entice you into parlaying. That's why I want
That's
to slap their ass.
that, that book right here. That's all they do. That's how they get everyone.
Cause like all
Speaking of,
season,
I'm gonna go. I want to go way off topic. Sorry, you just got me with something parlaying because they offered a boost last night where it was like Tatum 30, Randall 25, Luca 30, and 8 and like 10 rebounds. And it's like they always offer like the 4 or 5 leg boost and all that. So took it for fun last night. Luca rolls his ankle 2 minutes in, and boom, that boy dead. All three hit, other three hit. And this book gets you bad with that because they always offer like the 4 or 5 legs, 5, 6 legs. It always feels like the boost will hit, but more often than the like promos up top. But those promos up top, man,
oh yeah,
those parlays.
you got to stay away from them. What this book's doing is like all season you've gone to like player receiving, and it just has the regular numbers. Now you can scroll for 6 hours, and they give you
Is that the
like
alt now?
yeah, but they're like throwing it in your face. Like first thing you see is George Kittle over 19 and a half minus 835. Like bro, if y'all don't give me the damn odds, so you got to scroll all the way down to the middle to find some even numbers like 110, 112. And it was just driving me crazy last night looking at these props. Because
That
like
is.
you can also get Kittle, I get about 45 and a half. It moved to 46 and a half at even.
Actually, that's what it was on my book.
Yeah, but you can get him at 49 and a half at plus 105. Like, bro, just let me gamble, bro. Like, don't entice me to do no dumb shit.
Yeah, hey, I won't lie to you either. I just opened up that book in question. They already got the Super Bowl games out. Like, come
Oh
on now.
yeah,
They
I
don't
was gonna say that
like
too. And
what the
you can get everybody minus one
yeah, like
or
don't even
plus
make the
one.
line. Don't even make the line.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta guess the game right. Like if you take the Eagles minus one against the Chiefs and they play the Bengals, you lost your bet. I'm guessing.
I don't know. I don't yeah, I don't think they're gonna avoid it.
Hell no, bro.
But
They here to make money, and they here to make money off of fools.
yeah, but no, basically like banking everything off you said for your betting. I do love that George Kittle over. I agree with you. This is the hardest. These are the hardest 2 games. I think these are the hardest 2 games since week one through like 2 or 3 when you're trying to figure out what these teams are doing. So I think I'll talk about this more too when we go to the other game. Obviously, I think I'm just going to take the dogs this game just for straight value, just because. I mean, I like all these teams honestly too, and it's just like I was going through struggling. I feel you kind of with the 3 time. I'm going to take Kittle 2 time. I got that I think plus 1100 as well, and yeah, with the injury to McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell, they both didn't practice yesterday, but I think that shortly after I talked about it on my show, McCaffrey came out and said, I'm 100% playing regardless. So, and I think that because there's only 2 games left, people will try to push a little more. But yeah, it scares me away
Man,
from basically anything.
he could try and play all he want with that motherfucking calf or ankle, whatever he was dealing with.
Yeah, it's half that thing's
He ain't,
that game. I just hope it's tight. I hope it's not like a pulled muscle or anything. But that's something. If you're gonna pick him to score, I'm probably going to because he scored in all 12 games they played. Maybe take him live. You'll probably get better odds live. He's minus 130 right now, but he's definitely like last game if you waited. I didn't do it. I bet it before when it was 160, but I think you could have got like plus 300 before that drive he scored.
yeah,
That's something I feel for the Eagles side. I kind of like Hurts or Sanders to score. I
I
definitely want
love
to take one of the running backs.
I love Hurts.
I think I'm leaning towards Hurt over Sanders. I have his name first. If I was going to pick a receiver, I might pick Dallas Goddard again just because I love the tight ends in the playoffs. They seem to just be easy targets. They're close to the quarterback, easy dump offs. And something I think that I like is the I like Hurts's actual. I like actually Hurts and Purdy both to throw for over 1.5 touchdowns. Will it happen? I don't know. They're both plus money though, so the fact that both of them are plus money, it's like that's a fun thing. Like if you bet one, you're at least breaking. If you bet both, you're breaking even if one hits. But I think it'll be a little bit more scoring. But I just yeah I don't know. it's the, I think, number one defense overall with the 49ers, and the Eagles are for sure top 5. So that's the only thing that scares me away from that. I'm kind of opposite of you. I kind of like the Purdy no interception at plus 122, but last week, like I said, before we got on, he almost threw like 3 basically to defenders, and all it takes is one like tip pass drop from a receiver, and that ball's easily in a defender's hand. So that's something like maybe a fun sprinkle if you really think Purdy can lock it in. Him at plus 122 isn't bad. I guess I do like. We did take Kittle's over. I mind that. Something dumb like if you really want to take this, his number is really low. Miles Sanders under 5.5 receiving yards. He hasn't really done it too much, and the Eagles haven't been throwing to him too much. But 5, I feel like, is a little too low. That's one completion, but I'll say it last week. Pacheco was at 7, and he got 1 reception for 6 yards. So,
No,
I mean,
those running back
it's
receiving
doable.
yards always give me because I'm like 5 yards. Man, they gonna check it down at least once. But yeah,
And then they don't. And then the last one the last one I have for this game that's kind of like those. I would say my basically for sure for this game. I'm for sure taking Kittle 2 times. Have to take Christian McCaffrey 2 times because of the NBA Jam rules. Probably for sure going to take the 1.5 passing touchdowns for each quarterback just because I want to root for some offense. And then this last one's going to be my biggest question mark. It's Deebo Samuel over 20.5 rushing. Under. I like his under just simply because the last few games he has been since that injury. I don't think he's hit above it, but now with Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell, a little bit questionable. I feel like he might get an extra. Now I feel like he might get an extra carry or 2 just so they can maybe take 1 or 2 off him. But
yeah, they're gonna try
I don't
to
know.
run the
And then
ball, man.
while you were talking, I found some fun specials that I was looking through. 49ers to beat the Eagles in overtime at plus 2,200 might be a fun little sprinkle if you guys think that game's going to go overtime. I don't really know. There's 1 field goal to be scored each quarter at plus 700. So like you said, if there's a lot of stop, and that's not 1 field goal each team. That's 1 total.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, as long as you get 1 each, I kind of like that, but I don't know. The 2 I like the most though. I like Dallas Goedert 25 plus receiving each half because, like I said, I think the Niners are going to do a really good job of stopping the run game. So I think the Eagles are going to have to rely a little bit more on the passing than they did, and the 49ers have decent DB, so I feel like Dallas Goedert over the middle. The only thing that scares me is Fred Warner's really, really good. So Fred Warner's like just roaming around with him a lot. I don't think Dallas Goedert's going to do much. No offense to him. Fred Warner's a little bit more athletic than him, but I still think Dallas Goedert's really good. And then the last one, it kind of goes with your Hurts rushing. I really like Jalen Hurts 25 plus rushing yards each half because he can get 25 in like 2 scrambles easily, and you're just hoping that he does it in the first half, which I feel like he will have to because I feel like he's going to be a huge part of the run game. Because, like I said, I think that 49ers front's going to do a really, really good job in the run game.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's going to be. I think both of these teams are going to be pounding the ball on some old school bleep.
Probably going to be a fast-paced game. That's why that under might be a good play because I think that clock's going to be running.
Yeah, I love the under, even though I like the over. It's confusing. Both of these offenses have been putting up points, but I think this is the game where everything slows down. It's a bunch of not 3 and outs, but it's a bunch of punts. It's a bunch of turnovers. It's a bunch of long drives that turn into nothing. Mm-hmm. Like 7-minute, 82-yard drive that ends in a Purdy pick.
Yeah, the only thing is like I said, I'm just a little bit scared of Purdy because he really truly hasn't had the rookie moment yet. But it's one of those things where it's like I'm waiting for him to have the rookie moment because it's the NFL. There's always going to be that one game where he gets humbled. I just don't know if it's going to be next year or if he's going to make it through this playoffs and just get by. Because the thing is about the 49ers team is like as good as the Eagles team is, I think the 49ers have a better roster overall than them, especially offensively. Except it's only hard because I think the Eagles have the best offensive line in football, but I think the 49ers have the best offensive linemen in football in Trent Williams. And then if you go on the outside, like Ayuk, Kittle, I would take Ayuk, Kittle, Deebo, and Christian McCaffrey over Sanders, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Goddard almost any day. But it's like at that point, you're just like these teams are way up here. At that point, you're just like you're fighting between the best. But yeah, I think I like coaching a little bit more as well. But I love Nick Sirianni because of his charisma and everything he has. So it's really tough, honestly.
No, this is definitely one of the this is 1A and 1B. Like these are the 2 teams that are supposed to be playing this weekend. All season they proved it. Yeah, honestly, as a fan, I can't stand the Cowboys. Personal issue with they used to be in the NFC South back in the day. You might be too young to remember that, but
I do not.
they used to bust up the Saints twice a year with Steve Young and Jerry Rice when I was a kid, and it was heartbreaking. Yeah, it used to be before the Panthers. It used to be Bucks, Saints. No, it used to be Rams, Saints, and
Oh, so they left
Niners.
about 95 basically.
Yeah,
Ish. Oh, I actually did not know that. Yeah, I think that's a little bit before my time.
yeah. Back when you
And
was still wet behind the ears.
no wonder the Cowboys got all those Super Bowls. No, I'm just playing.
Nah, yeah, but so Niners, but I have been betting them all season and been happy about it. The Eagles, I just for some reason I feel like they're overrated this year, and I could be the one that's completely wrong because every week they show up and ball out. Um,
Oh, something I do want to touch on real quick before we move on. The big thing I wrote about this a little bit too. The big thing to be watched for is first off, Jalen Hurts' shoulder because I mean it didn't affect him at all last week. But smart defenses, like if they're going to hit him, he's going to get hit all up in this area, and it's going to be how many hits can he take on that shoulder and still be fine. Because somebody else pointed this out too, and I noticed it a little bit as well. When his runs last week against the Giants, yes, I know they were up a little bit, but he was giving himself up a little early instead of fighting for those extra yards like he used to since he got the injury. So I just wonder if it's a men's thing. And then the second one's going to be Lane Johnson. I'm pretty sure Lane Johnson is going to be going up Nick Bosa a lot, and he is dealing with that groin issue. And I don't know. I'm assuming you haven't played offensive line before, but just basically everything I've learned from it, groin and cores, the two biggest things for the offensive lineman. And that's basically all of his power comes from his groin too, and he was grabbing at it a lot. He played 96% of the snaps, which I don't get. He probably should have sat out by like the third quarter, honestly, for the Giants. But he was grabbing at that groin a lot, and if he goes down, especially in the game, like if it's during the week, like if they practice a guy during the week, then this might be like a little bit different. But if he goes down in the game, they got to throw a guy in there. That's usually where you see a bunch of the O line issues. Because like for the Bengals last week, they had a whole week to practice that unit, so that unit played really
they
well.
look
But
good, yeah.
yeah, but if he goes out mid game and they have to throw in a tackle in there, especially on Nick Bosa, it's going to be a long day that line. But yeah, so just something to watch for because I don't know how that groin's holding up. He already basically said it's miserable. The surgery is basically like a 3-4 month recovery time. So it's like this is a serious injury that he's playing through. So it's just a matter of how tough can he be.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. Injuries, man. This time of year, injuries and weather is crazy. All season, you watch NFL games in nice weather, and then they get to the biggest games,
Mhm.
and it's freezing, snowing, winds blowing everywhere. Everybody's
And
hurting.
for the Eagles, they survived all the way up to like week 15 basically, and their roster just fell apart injury wise.
Yeah, supposedly I saw somebody post something. It was like they might have all 22 starters back this weekend.
I wouldn't be shocked because at this point, because I think it's been long enough to where hopefully some guys can get healthy. But yeah, they might have all 22, but that doesn't mean all 22 are 100%
Right,
ready.
right, right. They just going to go. You're listening to Captain by a Hook with the red beard, Rowan Donaghy, aka Rowan Dives. My man JCP from the JC Pod, Jalen Chandler Parnell's here. We just broke down Niners, Eagles, moving on to Cincinnati Bengals, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City Sunday evening. Where you at on this game? I got about 3 bets and four that I'm gonna choose 2 or 3 more to add out of that four. Um, I ain't gonna lie, man. That Patrick Mahomes injury is every reason I'm betting the Bengals, and I
Have you seen
just
anything in the media lately, by the way?
about
Everything the media showing out, he seems fine. He's walking on fine, this and that. I don't buy it at all. They said he has a high ankle sprain. I mean, I showed obviously he's probably a tougher man than me because I only made it to college and everything. But I sent you that picture of my ankle. That was not even a high ankle sprain, and that boy hurt for like. And also, but we didn't have the treatment that they have there, obviously. So he could be putting in so much better work than me. But you don't just recover from a rolled ankle in a week, especially when he's running and doing stuff on it. Like I think he'll be fine. That's the line because the line's flipped 2 or 3 times now
yeah.
since like with the injury and everything. I think he'll be. I think he can definitely play through and be fine. I think also too the I want to say when he's in the pocket and throws for 90% of his throws. I heard this stat that so if 90% of his throws are from the pocket, the Chiefs are 10-0. So he still could be fine and everything, but it's going to be interesting to see that mobility because yeah, especially if it's a high ankle sprain, I feel like he might be a little scared to get hit a little bit, especially low. And I think with how good the Bengals defensive line is, they could potentially target that and that might force him to get the ball out quicker. But that's gonna be the biggest thing this week. Everyone's acting like, oh, his ankle's fine. Look at that. He's running on the practice field totally fine. He's gonna be a okay. But I don't know. I just feel like that ankle is. I feel like everyone's kind of brushing aside how quickly he healed that ankle a little
No,
bit.
yeah, I mean he could be fine all week, but I guarantee you nobody on the Kansas City Chiefs team is trying to tackle this man this week. And I guarantee you, in game time, game speed, game action, game adrenaline, he's gonna push off of that ankle one time, not tentatively, and he gonna feel it. And
And I'm not saying like the Bengals are going to target it either, but
no,
they aren't stupid. They know like, hey, if we alligator tackle him, maybe like if a defensive lineman rolls an alligator tackles him, it's like they aren't going to go out there and try to hurt him, but they obviously know like, hey, we can really affect the game if we're able to like hit this guy. Basically, and I'm not saying they're going to try to injure him and hurt him, but they're probably going to try to injure him and hurt him because they realize like, hey, they put Chad Henne in there because yeah, last week Chad Henne might have had a 98-yard drive, but he had 23 yards and 7 of them came on one play, and they had a 40-yard run to begin with. So if they can get Chad Henne in there, that changes the game completely for the Chiefs.
No, it's actually sad to me, man. Last year he was dealing with a toe injury when he played the Bengals, and then this year he has the ankle injury. Um,
Just really unfortunate.
yeah, because he's one of the generational talents, one of the great quarterbacks. You want to see him fully healthy in these kind of games. You don't want to see a kid's. I don't want to say legacy, but I mean this is legacy. If he's fully healthy, who knows what he does last year, and who knows what he does this year, healthy or not.
He's fully healthy this year. I think this line's probably like 3 or 4. I want to say
Yeah, and
because of how he looked good in that first half for the Jaguars. Like I like literally he was probably on pace to throw for like 300. Have all these stats. I just feel bad. One of my buddies was like, Mahomes looked good right now, and then he rolled his ankle next play. Basically, like, damn, you just ruined everybody's
yeah.
bet.
You know what? Just put your phone up, man, for the rest of the game. No, I'm saying.
Literally. It was so funny. Well, obviously, injury isn't funny, but it was very ironic and convenient.
The timing.
Man, Mahomes is cooking right now, and legit. Next play gets the thing rolled on. It's like, oh man, that ain't good. I just had a buddy too text me about the over 311. I'm like, man, hey, I feel bad for you because that is not hitting.
Nah, it's sad all the way around, man. But it's football. That's the sport they signed up to play. Um,
It's true.
you know,
It's gonna
I know,
happen.
everybody knows. When they say injury is a part of the game, I think it goes over people's head that it's a part of the game.
Literally, part of getting to the playoffs is people don't want to say it, but it is legit luck. Like who can keep their team healthiest the longest while also practicing the hardest to keep the body ready for all that. It's it's really hard because I mean you see it every year. I hate to bring up the injuries, but for example, the Jets, their whole season turned around. Brees Hall tore his ACL in Denver, and it's just simple stuff like that. He made one simple cut on a simple field in a play everybody makes, and boom, it can be just like that. It's crazy because they're too strong for each other now. They're too strong, too built. Bodies are too big, and pushing to the limit. Sometimes some bodies just can't do it.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of people trying to like find a reason for all the recent injuries, but I feel like nothing's changed. We just see them on social media now, so it feels like a lot. We don't see the ones that
I
we missed.
I think it's partially too just the game's a lot fat. Like people want to say, oh, back when they wore leather helmets, they weren't hitting as hard. And I mean, like you might be right, but I just think partially too, like the game's just changed a little bit, like the speed of it. Like the speed's a lot faster, collisions happen a lot more, and it's just legit. Some dudes' bodies are just built better for taking hits like that. And over time, like some people fail to realize too, like over time, like you forget these boys probably been playing football 15, 16 years taking hits like that. And now they're coming to the next level taking harder hits. Like some dudes' bodies just finally say, like, hey man, we can't do this anymore, bro. You're gonna be a sales associate at Subaru here soon because we just need a break. Like it's just some bodies can't take it, and other people just like for example, like Peyton Manning survived almost his whole year without injuries. Then he had a neck injury. Colts cut him like dumbasses, and then he goes wins 2 Super Bowls, and he's done. And then there's other people like
He won two Super
I
Bowls.
forget who. I had somebody's name where he's basically career's over in like 2 years because he just gets one unfortunate injury, or like the Ryan Shazier injury, just a freak tackle, head down, his career's over. Like it's just wild. You can't predict it at all. It's just literally a bunch of randomness.
I'm hurting just listening to you right now. But yeah, I'm on. I'm swearing my back tingling. I'm like, ooh wee. I'm on the Bengals money line here.
Same here. What do you got it at for your book? Because for mine, I think it was plus 108. Now I think it's down to plus 100.
Yeah, it was like dead even last night. Like the spread was zero. I
Yep,
think
for me, I think it moved from, I want to say minus 104 maybe to plus 100, and then the Chiefs went from minus 112 to minus 118 now. And my over went up by half a point from 47.5 to 48.
yeah, they both minus right now. Bengals minus 104, Chiefs minus 120,
Ooh.
and
Yeah,
then
you'll probably get plus money here soon.
the spread is moving Chiefs minus one, Bengals plus one. Now I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I think a lot of people are listening to the Chiefs feeding the public this news about Patrick Mahomes being a-okay to go.
No, I think I agree with that.
The two props that I'm on this game, I have Hayden Hurst over 35.5 receiving yards and Tyler Boyd over 31.5 receiving yards. Both of those totals are way too low for me. I think they get them in 2 or 3 catches, and I think they get 5 to 6 catches each. People are definitely taking Jamar Chase out of the game, and Burrow is definitely looking for Hurst and Boyd as third and fourth options instead of
First name you said?
Hurst.
Hurst. Ooh, let's go. I got something for that too.
Yeah, I got Hurst over 35.5 receiving yards and Boyd over 31.5 receiving yards. As far as touchdowns, I like Boyd, Hurst, Mixon, and Kelsey. I'm probably going to choose 2 or 3 of those and run with it. Haven't made a decision. I might just take all 4. I hate when you end up taking so many bets and it's like, well, only 2's going to hit. It's like, why are you taking 4 bets then? Let me try and figure out who I really like instead of just throwing a bunch of bets up and hoping something sticks like spit on a spider web.
Yes, sir. I liked all those touchdown scores. For this game, I definitely have a lot more bets. I think I got like maybe 10 here, but like you agree, I'm only gonna probably take 4 or 5 because yeah, especially when it comes to the scoring wise, I think it's a lot harder to pick the scores now because everyone basically is like targeting good players. That's what scares me about Kelsey. I think I gotta take him just because of his performance last week, but I could see him not scoring again in the playoffs and not even like blink and not be surprised because of how big of a game he had against the Jags. Because yeah, after somebody has 14 for 98 and 2, I don't think they're gonna let him do that. Especially the Bengals coach Lou Aruma. He is no, he's been really good this year. He's basically changed around that defense. Because they have a lot of the same names they've had for the last like 2 or 3 years. It's just now all of a sudden, you know their names. Basically, like Sam Hubbard, he's been there for a while. Nobody knew who he was. All of a sudden, you know, his adding of Trey Hendrickson a few years ago. That's awesome for them. But yeah, I think I kind of want to lean over here. I have an exact score. No idea. I'm thinking like 27-24-ish or 28-24. That's where about the score range I'm thinking. So for over, I'm good with the over until about like 51-52. Then I think I'm going to lay off. And I definitely can see this over getting to like 49-50 by the end of the week. Because I think the more people watch Mahomes get healthy, I think that's influencing the lines a lot with like what you said. However, when it comes to like the over-unders, I definitely hate to do this, but I think I'm going to take both unders for the for the quarterbacks. Mahomes is at 282.5 and Burrow is at 276.5. I just look at, I mean, this is something that this is going to be one that I'm thinking about and maybe not taking, but the odds are minus 114, minus 108 respectively for those two unders. It's just Mahomes didn't reach it last week. I think with that ankle, they aren't going to try to make him throw it all over the yard because I think it's his right ankle, if I'm not mistaken, and that's the plant leg he throws on. So I don't think they're gonna just have him slinging that pill all over the field. And then for Burrow, the run game was just really good last week, so he didn't. I don't think he needs to throw for 300 yards, but I don't know. I don't know how the Chiefs defense is gonna respond. Those are two like questionable ones I'm gonna take. I definitely agree with you. I like Higgins or Hurst to score, but I don't think I'm gonna take Higgins. I think I'm on Hurst. I'm also gonna take Hurst 2 times because so far I think in the playoffs only the tight ends are the ones who've scored twice, except for DK Metcalf for the Seahawks. So I don't mind Hurst. I like his over as well, but yeah, for sure taking Hurst 1 time, might sprinkle 2 times. Love his over. And our boy, as they say in the NBA Jam, he's heating up. I like Jamar Chase. I'm gonna take him live. He's minus 105. I'm gonna wait for a bit because it's the NBA Jam rules. I would be a fool if I didn't live by it. So I'm gonna wait for it to go live. Probably sprinkle him a little bit. Won't be shocked if he doesn't score. He's had a really good like 2 games. That's one I'm definitely a little bit more questionable on. If my for sure, I think scores this game. I love Hurst, and I think that's probably about it. I'm going to probably take Joe Mixon and Pacheco as well. Pacheco should have scored last week. He's plus 135, I believe. He got tackled, I want to say 2 or 3 times before the goal line before he got in, and He was the last leg that killed one of my fun parlays. So I'm gonna make myself miserable and take him again.
Hey
No, I
man,
think he actually has a good chance to score.
parlays are lost as soon as you
Oh yeah.
place them.
I don't mind it though. I mean, like it was one of those ones where like I had like Kelsey 2 times. I like it basically I parlayed all my touchdown props together on the off chance they hit, adding in some yards and everything. And I mean, hey, it was close. Actually, too, I think it missed by another leg, and that was Saquon because they're at the goal line, so why not run a wildcat and hand it off the burrito to piss everyone off so no one makes money? NFL's rigged. Um, no, I'm just playing, but yeah, I love Hurst is over. Those quarterback unders I'm questionable about, but I'm for sure taking like Hurst to score, Joe Mixon to score, Pacheco to score. For sure taking Hurst is over in receiving yards. I don't mind P Ryan's over at receiving yards. It's only 15 and a half. Like we talked about, I think a week or two ago, he's on the field a decent amount.
Yeah,
And Joe Burrow's checking down a lot because of how bad the offensive line is. So 15 shouldn't be bad. That's just 2 or 3 good wiggle moves to get an extra few yards.
yeah, I like
Uh,
that.
Pacheco's is at 6.5. Take that at your own risk. The only reason I even wrote it down on the sheet is because of Mahomes' ankle, because he might check it down a little bit more, but that's not the Mahomes way. So we'll have to see. This is a dirty rat one that I don't. I probably shouldn't wrote it down, but this is just because I was looking through lines. Noah Gray, I'm going to look up the stats again just to be sure. I got Noah Gray at over 13 and a half. He gets like he gets like 1 or 2 receptions a game. He's like number 83. He's one of their backup tight ends. But like last week, he had 1 reception for 27 yards. Week beforehand, he had 1 for 14, 1 for 12, 1 for 8, and then 3 for 31 going back December 18th. So for 13 and a half, I mean, that's definitely one though you're probably going to sweat because, like I said, he's only going to get like 1 or 2 receptions. But for 13 and a half, that might be a fun sprinkle. I think about each team to score 1 touchdown, 1 field goal. I don't know what the odds are for this game, but I think for sure this game I like each team to score a touchdown and field goal. I think it's pretty much obvious. I don't know if that's a weekly special though for all the teams. That's the only problem. I didn't write down the exact. I don't know if it's for all the teams, like including the Eagles and 49ers, but even if it is, I like it. I think it's like plus 1 or 300. And it's not, like I said, it's not bad because I think the 49ers and I think every team's going to easily kick a field goal. It's just like, are the Eagles and Niners going to score touchdowns? That's the only game I'm kind of worried about. I did, what else is it? Oh, there we go. I like each team to have 1 touchdown. This is for weekly specials at this point. I basically give out everything I like for that game. I like each team to have 1 passing touchdown and each team to have 1 rushing touchdown. Pick which one you like. I think I'm going to lean the rushing because the rushing is plus 330. And we did this in the wild card round and only missed by 2 games. Now there's only 2 games. I think each of these teams has a really good running back. So I think that should be doable. But yeah, overall, I think my favorites for this game, I like the over until it reaches about like 50-ish. You're gonna live bet Chase anytime because he's heating up. I like Hurst touchdown, Hurst 2 times, Joe Mixon touchdown, Pacheco touchdown. Quarterback unders, take at your own risk. I might if I have extra money from the game beforehand. Definitely like Hurst over for sure. Love P Ryan's over. And then yeah, I like each team 1 touchdown, 1 field goal, and then I like each team to rush for a touchdown. And then other than that, basically everything I gave out is just stuff I could see hitting, but I don't know if I'm brave enough to take it. I'm just looking at it, it's making me scared. Like this was almost a cross out situation for those unders, but Mahomes threw for 192 last week with the hurt ankle, so for them to give it at 282, yeah, I think I might end up taking the under.
Nah, I mean it's sometimes you gotta bet numbers that you don't like just because it's the numbers you're supposed to like. I don't know if that makes sense. Probably 40% of my bets, I'm like, all right. If this is what the analytics and algorithms and shit say.
Yeah, I mean the books put out that number for a reason. I mean, and then you said it best. They're just trying not to get beat. They aren't trying to give out like a line to beat you. They're just trying not to get beat themselves. So some of these my lines, man. I mean, like Noah Gray at 13 and a half. Like that one probably is one I shouldn't take, but I think for 2, 3 weeks in a row he's gotten it. So it's like numbers say, but probably shouldn't.
Exactly. Exactly. Real quick before you go, Waffle House, IHOP, or Denny's?
Easily Waffle House. They don't got any up here, but I love me some Waffle House. I mean, I definitely don't mind Denny's or IHOP. I don't. I think in that order be Waffle House, Denny's, IHOP, but I love me some Waffle House. I haven't had them forever, so it's like a special thing to me when we go on vacation down south. You find that first one, it's like, hey, we might have to make this stop. It's so good.
That's crazy, man. Everywhere I lived, I've had a Waffle House. I got a Waffle House literally just the closest food restaurant in proximity to my house.
I'm about to look this up. I bet you there's not even one close to me. Because yeah, I don't think there's any like at all up north.
Oh yeah, no, it's a South thing for sure.
The nearest one is actually we do have a few, but the nearest one, that's why they're in Indy. That's why. Yeah, so it's like an hour-ish away from me is where the nearest one is. So you won't see me driving an hour for some waffles, but I do love me some Waffle House.
Nah, I just wanted to see, man. You my kind of guy. I'm a Waffle House and then Denny's and then IHOP also. But man, thank you so much for coming by, helping me break.
And it's gonna be
these
weird
down.
next week though. Because there's no way we're talking Pro Bowl. I'm not gonna do that to anyone. I mean, maybe talk a little bit about the skills challenge because they're changing up a bit, but
You don't
got
bet
a
Pro
week
Bowl
off.
pops? No, I'm playing.
I don't know. I might. I mean, football's almost over. I might have to out of respect, but I don't even know what they're gonna do for that. But yeah, I'm gonna have to find some college basketball for you, so I don't just come on here and just stay mute for like 30 minutes.
Nah, we'll figure it out, man. I'll think of something college hoops wise or baseball wise we can go over and have some fun with. Maybe even do some team totals in baseball or just do some March Madness talk, man. It is it'll be February by then.
My apologies, by the way. I didn't have the lights on all day. I wondered why it looked so damn dark.
Oh man, I didn't even notice, to be honest with you.
And like the whole day, I didn't realize. I just picked this thing up. I'm like, oh man, I didn't even use my lights. I left the window open. That's why. So it's so bright from the back. I thought I had everything on.
My man, JCP from the JC Pod. Follow him on Twitter at Jaden95Chandler and on YouTube at the JC Pod, giving out insightful. He has a new one called JC Plays under his podcast. This guy's killing it, burning the stick at both ends, as they say, doing all kinds of stuff content-wise. I appreciate you taking the time out to stop by with me here on Captain by a Hook. Gave out, I'm just going to say it, gave out a bunch of winners for this weekend, so.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me on. And yeah, no special shout outs this week. Sorry, Giants. Sorry, TCU. And I even forgot the first team. Probably Bucks. Who knows? But yeah, hey,
Chargers.
let's just win some damn bets. The Chargers. See, I already put them in the back of my mind, man. I can't even think about it. Bought a shirt to represent the team. Got to wear that thing 1 week, and now it's back in the closet. But no, I appreciate everyone. Thanks for having me on. And hey, yeah, let's win some damn bets this weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said it best. Let's win some bets. You're listening to Captain by a Hook with the red beard, Rowan Donaghy, a.k.a. Rowan Dies. Always, always, always a blast talking to that man, Jaden Chandler Parnell. I'm definitely going to take probably 5 or 6 of the bets that he gave out between both games put together. Love the Goddard touchdown that he threw out there. I wasn't even thinking about him. Big consistency guy for the Eagles when they needed most. The other thing that's happening this weekend, besides the NFL playoffs, is college basketball season is heating up. This weekend they have the SEC versus the Big 12 challenge going on. Ooh-wee. I love college basketball. I love weeks like this. I love when they do something a little different. Might do something, just switch it up a tad. I have, I think, 18 games here for Saturday's slate. I have nothing for tonight. I usually take Fridays off, honestly, and then I end up taking NBA props right before tip-off. Haven't looked at anything yet on that, but I do have the Saturday slate of college hoops presented by the Red Beard. It's Captain by a Hook. Appreciate y'all for listening. Like and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and just dive right into it. I have the teams and the opponents written down, so it'll be smooth, easy, breezy, like Sunday effing morning. Washington hosting Arizona. Give me Arizona -6. Last night, buzzer beater 3 to ruin the -5 and a hook. I need them to get back on track and win by at least 10. Let me get the Orangemen of Syracuse +3 taking on Virginia Tech on the road. The Orangemen of Syracuse taking on Virginia Tech +3. And then this team's lost 3 in a row. I'm still going to ride with them. I got hope. I believe in them too much. Arizona State University -2.5 taking on Washington State. Give me Arizona State as a small favorite. Getting back on track, man. Let's get back on track. Bobby Hurley and the boys. Virginia, give me them -9 in the hook taking on Boston College. Then in the Big 12, give me West Virginia taking on Auburn in the SEC. One of those cross matchups I just referenced. West Virginia, give me them +4 taking on Auburn. Xavier taking on Creighton this weekend. Give me Xavier -2 in the hook. Small favorites at Creighton. I got to ride this Xavier team until the wheels fall off. As I mentioned earlier in the show, I did a bracket last night. Xavier is in the Elite 8 on the bracket that I did according to ESPN's bracketology that's out right now. Everything's going to change by March, so I kind of just do that for funsies. But I love Xavier, man. This team is rocking. This team is rolling. Give me Xavier -2.5. Alabama taking on Oklahoma in their Big 12 SEC matchup. Give me Alabama to blow the doors off of Oklahoma. I like them around -7.5. I think they win this game handedly. Back to the Big East, Marquette taking on DePaul. Give me Marquette team -4.5. I think that I don't think they lose to DePaul. I think they win this game by about 7 or more. Houston Cougars. Give me -6.5 on the Cougars taking on Cincinnati for the second time this season. I think it was a 10-point game the first time they played. Give me Cincy to keep it close, but Houston to push away at the end. Houston -6.5. And then in Arkansas, taking on Baylor, SEC and Big 12. Give me Baylor -4 against Arkansas. I think Baylor's at home. I don't think Arkansas boys know too much about going down to Waco in the backyard of the country and playing some basketball. Give me Baylor to cover -4. And then Clemson -11.5. Huge number. I kind of think it's too big. That's the number I came up with. Give me Clemson -11.5 taking on Florida State. Clemson's defense is smothering, and I mean smothering. Tennessee, another defense that's smothering, is taking on Texas. Some good games, man. This Big 12 SEC little shindig producing some classics, if you will. I like Tennessee at home -1.5. I think Texas, I don't want to say chokes the game away, but I think Tennessee has the poise to pull it off, a close game at the end. Tennessee -1 in the hook. Kansas State taking on Florida. Give me Kansas State -3 in the hook. Love Kansas State this year. The way that they built, I think they're always going to be small favorites, and I love it. Give me Kansas State at -3.5. Georgia, the only team I, for some reason, didn't write down who they play. Man, give me Georgia -2. I might have to come back to this game. It might take me a second or two to really get it pulled up. I'm going to move on and come back to it. Utah State taking on Fresno State. Give me Utah State -4. Utah State -4 over Fresno State. Utah State took a 10-point loss to San Diego State last time out. Let's get them back on track and back rolling towards the tournament. Utah State -4. Kansas playing Kentucky. They couldn't have did it better. SEC, Big 12, they could have did it any other way, but they couldn't have did it better. Kansas and Kentucky matchup in the middle of the season, late February. It's like It's like a gift from the gods. Give me Kansas and Kentucky over 138. I'll take it up to 139 and a hook. I think it's going to be around there. I think they get into the 140s barely. I think the winner of this game gets into the 70s. Loser is high 60s. And I do have Kansas winning 72-69, something like that. However, Kentucky, I think they're getting hot at the right time. Kansas has been struggling as of late, staying away from either side. And give me the over if it's around anything under 139.5. I like it at 138. That's my favorite number for that over. Indiana taking on Ohio State in a Big Ten matchup. Indiana's been one of the hottest teams, and I mean one of the hottest teams in the nation. Give me Indiana to keep it going, -3.5, as in a tough fought matchup against Ohio State. Ohio State's offense, as I said a few times, is dreadful. Give me Indiana putting up some more points, but the game being a back and forth close one. Indiana pulls off in the last 2 minutes to win by more than 5. Give me Indiana -3.5. St. Mary's taking on BYU. Give me St. Mary's -2.5 taking on BYU. St. Mary's defense and pace is going to control this game. I see them winning this game. Low game. I think it'll be in the 50s, and I think St. Mary's pulls off the victory -2.5. And back to the Georgia, there I have the -2 over South Carolina. Georgia at home -2.5 taking on South Carolina. Give it to me, baby. You're listening to Captain by a Hook with the red beard, Rowan Donaghy, aka Rowan Dobbs. Beautiful, amazing Friday. I will run through these real quick and then get the heck on out of here. Arizona -6, Syracuse +3, Arizona State -2.5, Virginia -9 and a hook, West Virginia +4, Xavier -2.5, Bama -7.5, Marquette -4 and a hook, Houston -6 and a hook, Baylor -4, Clemson -11.5, Tennessee -1.5, Kansas State -3 and a hook, Georgia -2, Utah State -4, Kansas, Kentucky over 138, Indiana -3.5, and St. Mary's to round out the night -2 and a hook. Again, like and subscribe. Thank y'all for listening. Me and my man Jaden gave out some hot bets in the NFL. I just gave you my Saturday slate for college basketball. As he said before he left, let's go win some bets. Thank you for listening. See y'all boys on Monday. I will be touching on some baseball. Next week is going to be one of the best weeks of the show in the history of the show. First week of February, which means one thing. We're diving deeper into the madness, as the madness is on the way.